We're in sneaker heaven right now. I currently have 213 pair of shoes. These are from the movie Back to the Future. And that movie came out when I was born in '89. I honestly began collecting shoes once I graduated high school. So I was able to have a job, obviously a summer job is when it all started. But it began because I wasn't able to have the things that I wanted. And obviously no one needs 200 pair of shoes. So that's why I emphasize want. I wanted as many shoes as I could have. And I was never able to do that until recently becoming a YouTuber. It's your boy CjSoCool.
I'm CjSoCool.
Tapping with Pkwy kids. It's your butt. CjSoCool and I'm back again with another video.
We're celebrating hitting 3 million subscribers.
I can very well say that there was many years in a row that I could count the number of shoes I had. So I had to play basketball, cut the grass, go to school, go to church, all in these same shoes. And that stuck with me. I will never go through that. Basically, I never wear the same shoes once in the same month at least. So there's 30 days in the month, I'm wearing 30 pair of shoes. I wore this shoe to a sneaker convention where I hosted the basketball game. So basically all eyes were on me. And I could not take a step without being asked, what are these? How much are these? And wow, those are beautiful. So these got the most response.
What are they?
These are Christian Louboutin red bottoms. They cost about $4,500. This is my house right here, man. This is the house I grew up in. I was in the system at a very young age. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I was a foster kid. Anyway, Miss Betty used to be the neighborhood foster mom. So when I got tired of living at my mom's house, my granny house, I ran away and moved here with Miss Betty. True story. My high school was across the street from the projects. Every lunch hour is where I would see adults jumping the gates from the projects. Sometimes they had guns, weapons. But this is the Gary Housing Authority, otherwise known as the projects. This is the block. The first time I saw a murder, it was right here. I saw a 13-year-old boy kill a grown man. I saw that, man. This is crazy. I honestly thought that at some point, this would be over. And as long as I could think that way, even as a kid, it would never last us that long. But this is, all of this that I have now, it all stemmed from my past. Being that kid, that you're weird or you have nothing, everyone's better than you. And even though it's not your fault, all these things are true, very much true. I was that kid and I knew that I deserved better. And I made sure I got it. Elementary, I graduated from this elementary school, but they changed it to an all-boys academy. Anyway, man, this is it, man. This is my elementary right here, bro. These are the projects that I had my fights in, man. These are the people that used to be basically envious of us, me and my brothers, because we didn't live out here. I was always a standout kid, a class clown. If the class got too quiet, I made sure I livened it up. That was me. I know how I used to be when I was in school, but I want to know if kids have changed since then, because I'm a lot older than a lot of kids. My grandmother, she had VHS recorded us, or somehow back in the day, and I still remember seeing it. I sung almost the whole video. So every time I got caught on camcorder, I was just a human jukebox. I was singing every Nelly song I ever heard, and that just, it touched me to see it as an adult, to know that as a kid, I wasn't quiet or to myself. I was always outgoing and I wanted the attention.
Baby, are you drunk? Have you had enough? How y'all like that?
We are currently on Martin Luther King right now. This is one of the schools I graduated from, the Gary Area Career Center. You've seen the diplomas. I got 2 diplomas, one from Roosevelt High School and one from the Gary Area Career Center. I was in high school, I was a senior, and this Escalade at the time, it was a 2007 Escalade, pulled up to my school on rims, like 24-inch rims. And I'm looking at it like, wow, look at that car. And this guy gets out, this African-American sailor. I had no intentions on the military because I have no military background. Nobody in my family history was in the military. He has on this white uniform, white hat, white everything. And I'm just like, wow, what does this dude do? I know nothing about the military, and he came straight to me. It was like it was meant. He came up to me. Out of everybody on lunch hour, he came up to me, and I'm like, what do you do? How do I get that card? Tell me and I'm in it. It was only because of him. If I had missed school that day or if I had been in the bathroom, I would never have went to the military. I went to the military because I wanted to escalate on 24s, specifically that. My future, I saw my future as wearing that outfit, pulling up to a school, making other kids feel how I felt when I saw him. Envious, you know, worship me, look at me and want what I want. That's how I went to the military. Well, first I had to go to boot camp, which was different, very different. Being in a room with 88 men for months, I mean, that is very different. In Great Lakes in Illinois, almost 2 hours away from home. Not very far from home, unlike most of the other guys, but I had never lived with that many men. My whole life had been around women. My grandmother, my great-grandmother, I had 2 sisters and only 2 brothers, so. This is the room me and all my brothers and sisters grew up in. My oldest sister, Shayna, me, my little brother, Kenneth, my little sister, Mimi, and then my little brother, Jinx, which you all know him as, but his name is Anthony. All 5 of us slept in this one bedroom, guys. I went from being around a bunch of women to a bunch of men and taking orders from men, and as you know, I had no father. So I think I looked at all of those, my chiefs and my petty officers, I looked at them as father figures. And I think I submitted to them as I wanted to my real father. And unlike the other 87 men who probably did have fathers, I could see it in them, the resentment and the, you're not my dad, and I'm like, wow, why would you guys do this? You know, we all have a purpose, we're here for a reason. And I was the guy that listened to everything, so they put me on the pedestal, which enabled me to get selected for the Presidential Honor Guard. I went to become a cook. I went to the military after boot camp. They switched everything around. They're like, you're not gonna be a cook, you're gonna be in the Presidential Honor Guard now. So I'm like, wow, this is great news. And that was my first time being in the newspaper, actually. Once I got selected for that, I went back home for a couple of days and reporters came to my house and they did a segment on me, and I was very ecstatic about that. And after graduating the Presidential Honor Guards boot camp, I began my duties as a casket bearer, which is where every morning around 4 to 5 a.m. I buried higher dignitaries. I did the flag folding, I played the trumpet, which was battery operated, and I just basically did everything that people see on TV for 2 years. And after that was over, they tried to put me in the regular Navy, which is not what I wanted. I had to live on this ship, and it was the smallest ship in the Navy, a destroyer, a DDG. So me being 6'1", my whole life switched from being free, tall, and happy to ducking down and making sure I don't bump my head on metal pipes and listening to people tell me to do this and that. And it wasn't cooking, which I originally signed up to do, and I did not like it. I honestly regretted the Navy after the Presidential Honor Guard was over. After I left the military, I received, because I had vacation time, so I received like 3 months of checks after that. So for 3 months, I did nothing, just have fun, and I went right back to Gary to live with my grandmother. Be late, I might as well make a pit stop and go see my granny's crib, just to show you guys where I really came from, huh? I ended up just having fun until the checks ran out, and that's when I woke up, and then I realized I was screwed. So I had to get a regular job working at Menards, big department store. I worked in the carpet section. I was a great salesman because all of the things that I got from the military, and people loved me for it. So I thought that that would be my future forever. I'm gonna work at Menards and become the manager one day, and I got fired. And then I went to college to become, well, I went to college for criminal law. I wanted to be something in the criminal law, or I wanted to be a lawyer or detective. I didn't know what, but I went to college, Purdue University, to pursue criminal justice. I got expelled from Purdue for having a gun in my dorm while I was in class. So I kept it in my dorm room, and they found it. It was just a random room inspection, and they saw a gun. And it was after the Columbine. So no matter what I said, it looked bad. They kicked me out, and then after that, I realized I'm a failure. Well, at least I thought that. For a long time, I didn't do anything good or positive. I just stayed at home with my grandma, and I was lost. And then I grew up, and then I had a kid. That's when everything changed. When I made it to Kamari's neighborhood, y'all. That's the reason I'm in Gary today. I'm here to pick up Kamari. When I had my first and only child, Kamari, 5 years ago, that's when I changed as a man, at least, or as I wanted to be a father. Because up until that point, I was just having fun like any other teenager, young adult would, and parenting was the last thing on my list. But once I got that call that I had a child, I signed the birth certificate, something my father never did for me. And from that day on, I began to do things that was never done for me.
Hello?